What's up, everybody? My name's Corey. Welcome back to the channel. So I saw on my phone, I got a notification that Asmongold had put a very long post talking about negativity, criticism, and feedback in the WoW community. And when I clicked on the link, I saw that it was a very, very long written out post. And I saw a couple of the tweets responding to it, asking for it to be written in, or not written, but done in video format. I thought that might be where I can step in and I can take this. So what I thought I would do is take this post from Asmongold and read it out. So if you enjoy this video, you enjoy what I'm doing here, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, make sure to hit that bell so you can get notified when I put out more videos. So let's go ahead and read this post. It does say negativity, criticism, and feedback in the WoW community. Recently, especially with the Burning Crusade announcement, along with 9.1 PTR data mining, there's been a lot of negative sentiment in the WoW community. Today, I want to talk about that sentiment regarding where it comes from and where I think it's going to go. Ever since Vanilla WoW, there's always been doomsayers of the community. Burning Crusade killed WoW, Wrath of the Lich King turned the game into casual easy mode. Those are a couple quotes. You know what I mean. You've seen it for years, just like I have. The feedback itself is always the same, and it's never different. However, the tone as of late has changed. The former passionate, righteous indignation followed by a 2,000-word essay has faded away and been replaced with a resigned, defeated tweet. The anger is still there, but the hope behind it has been replaced with inevitability. When Warlords of Draenor turned out to be a disaster, the frustration came from a place of betrayal. How could Blizzard do this to us? Why is this happening? Now, when Shadowlands systems like Soul Ash or Conduit Energy are coddled along despite resounding condemnation from the community, the feeling is no longer betrayal. It can't be, because betrayal requires trust, and that trust was broken a long time ago. Hear, hear. I agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment. It goes on to say, now, when I see a system like Conduit Energy kept in the game, I see it as another desperate attempt to exhume participation metrics from a dying player base. Now, when I see a pop-up that Burning Crusade is releasing less than a month from now, and Illidan's iconic "You Are Not Prepared" quote, co-opted to sell ridiculously overpriced microtransactions, I see the last bit of heart and soul of a game I love being drained away for a quarterly earnings report, which is funny because I didn't even know that they were labeling it as that. But when I did my video talking about May 18th being the pre-patch date and June 1st, I put in the description that you will not be prepared, or maybe it was, I think it was actually in the thumbnail, you will not be prepared, because yeah, it's such a short pre-patch time. It goes on to say, these things are so blatant in their disregard for the player experience that even the most resolute of Blizzard defenders have had to resort to saying that they don't care instead of trying to look on the bright side, because there is no bright side. They take pride in being taken advantage of, as if being able to afford a $70 microtransaction, quote unquote on micro, is an accomplishment, as if it's not lining the pockets of executives who don't even know who Illidan is. World of Warcraft used to be a game that made you want to waste your time. Now, it's just a game that wastes your time. That's a fair assessment. I can't really disagree. I mean, I honestly, a lot of the times agree with him, with Asmongold, so I really have no feedback yet. Every system that's added into the game with obvious playtime extenders, examples being corruption, vendor rotation, losing Soul Ash when transferring to alts in 9.1, Conduit Energy, etc., do something that's much more insidious than just making people mad. They show the man behind the machine. The experience you have in-game, the time you spend, is no longer the result of trials and tribulation inside of Azeroth, but instead time trials and tabulations inside the accounting department. The willing suspension of disbelief is shattered, and the only thing that's left over is a poorly designed Skinner box with an uninspired disguise. Bellular Gaming recently came up with the most beautiful metaphor for describing the way Blizzard designs a system. It's like eating a great salad, but there's a dick in the salad. Blizzard, get the dicks out of our salad. You can try to eat around it, put dressing on it, or pretend it's not there, but at the end of the day, there's a dick in the salad and everybody knows it. To put it in more plain terms, stop making systems with obvious flaws. Stop waiting until the 0.2 or 0.3 patch of an expansion to implement quality of life changes that were suggested in alpha. It's fucking ridiculous to think that we get fed obvious dysfunctional systems only to be hyped up later into coming back and playing more or paying more money so that we can play them properly. I'm sick of it. I was willing to deal with this in Legion with legendaries, and I was less willing to deal with it in BFA with Azerite and corruptions. But now in Shadowlands, I, along with many other people, no longer welcome quality of life changes with excitement, but instead with about fucking time. Yeah, it's unfortunately just become a part of what Blizzard of a company is. They are much more of a company than a game developer as I see it. Human beings have evolved to see patterns, and I think everyone here sees the pattern. Some of us have just been calling it out for a lot longer than others. There are two realities in which this can occur. The first is that the developers are genuinely incompetent. They actually have no idea how players will interact with their systems, and that they honestly need 6 months of failure points to come to the same conclusion that the player base came to during alpha. The second reality is that they're doing it on purpose. They intentionally withhold quality of life changes and obvious improvements in order to artificially extend game time and boost performance metrics without actually having to create new content, but instead just make existing content take longer. The second truth is that I don't think that it's the first or the second. I think it's both. I agree. The developers lack the humility to give the player base what they want, and when they do, they lack the insight to give them what they need. Yeah, I mean, it honestly seems, at least to me personally, like the developers behind the game have this sense of pride behind them, the sense of pride of, well, I work on the game, so obviously I know what the game needs more than you, which a lot of the times is not true at all. Players generally have a lot more time to invest in playing the game than the developers actually have in playing the game, especially with a game that's still currently being worked on and developed as we speak. I don't have a job where I have to go and work 8 to 10 hours a day, so if I want to sit at home and play WoW for 10 hours straight, I have nothing stopping me from doing so. Obviously, there's a lot of players that have the same type of ability. I mean, this is written by somebody who literally is one of the highest earners, we'll say. We'll imagine. I have no idea what he makes, but I would imagine one of the highest earners on Twitch from playing World of Warcraft. This is a sentiment of what's going on with them, what they're talking about. These are all things that players have been talking about for a very long time, but we just continuously get ignored. And the more and more often that these type of things happen, it does make it seem like they're not only just completely ignoring what we have to say, but also it's all based on metrics. That's easy to see. You can look at the timing when things drop. Metrics are extremely important to Blizzard, and they're just more of a company than a developer now, which is disappointing. But at the same time, I mean, as earlier stated, it's kind of become such a normal thing that it's just a feeling of defeat now. It's just a feeling of, yeah, well, it is what it is, whatever. But let's go on. It goes on to say that the developers identify problems that players don't have. then implement solutions that those players or those problems implement solutions to those problems that players don't want. In Battle for Azeroth, I really tried to be more diplomatic about how I talked about the systems and the state of the game. But at this point, I'm so fucking tired, man. It's exhausting. The funny thing is that this is a very general post, but I could literally make a post this long about any number of systems in the game and their lazy, deserved decline rather. How many reskins of Gorm Mount do we need? Why do we need to do 20 of the same world quests for an achievement? Why do Shadowlands rares only drop their unique item for people of that loot class when most people want the transmog universally? Why? Here's why. It's because instead of innovating the game, Blizzard hardwired themselves down into micromanaging expansion-specific systems. Imagine how hard it is to balance all of that. I don't envy the life of a WoW dev at all. However, it is not my decision to make character balance in WoW have more unnecessary complexities than a Rube Goldberg machine. Blizzard wants to invent the wheel every expansion, and they do. But they don't make a wheel. They make a hoverboard instead. Then during the entire expansion, we spend our time worrying about how will it fly? What fuel will the hoverboard use? How can we have a seatbelt for the hoverboard? We waste our time trying to design the perfect hoverboard for each expansion. We get halfway there by the end of it. Then we throw that hoverboard away and work on a new one. All at the same time that the player base is just asking for a better wheel. It's true. There's a reason that WoW reached its popularity at a certain point. More and more things started getting added to the game to make it more complex, and it really did start killing the player base. Micromanaging these systems is coming at the cost of genuine innovation. The last time the game had real innovation was Legion. Now almost all our systems are lesser derivatives of the Legion counterparts. Covenants are innovation to an extent as well. We need new ideas. Not the same 8 ideas, and each expansion we get to pick 5 of them. Torghast is a great example of this. Torghast is currently at 5% of its potential, and 9.1 is looking to push that number up to somewhere around 15% of its potential. Wake the fuck up and take some risks. Look at the incredible design of the Mage Tower bosses, and then compare them to the corrupted trash can of a boss we have to look forward to in 9.1. What the fuck happened? Torghast is supposed to be a roguelike, a new experience, but the only thing it's been is a roguelike. 9.1 is a good start, but it needs to come faster and it needs to be better. Nearly every aspect of the game is suffering from lack of innovation, least of all raids, from my opinion. Raids are, and have always been, one thing that Blizzard has not stopped innovating or developing in better and better ways. I'm always excited for the new raid or dungeon in WoW, but WoW shouldn't all just be raids and dungeons. This is true. One of the things that has made WoW so boring, for me at least, is the fact that I don't really do dungeons. I don't really do raids. I enjoy questing. I like building my character in the World of Warcraft as an open world, but playing it like a single player type game. That's just always how I've played the game. Yeah, I'll help people when I'm running around the world. Yeah, I'll occasionally run a dungeon like 1 or 2 times as I'm leveling up, but I very, very rarely do any of those things. The reason I'm sitting here writing this past midnight is not because I'm negative about the game. It's the opposite. It's because I fucking love the game. That's why I care so much, and I want it to get better. This game has been a huge part of my life for the past 15 years, and I'll be damned if I leave it without a fight. I want to play it for the next 15 years. Even now, in the Shadowlands content drought, I still log in every single day and do the little activities that I enjoy. That's why I don't unsub. It's very simple. It's because I still enjoy the game. While the negatives are present, so are the positives. And there are more positives. The reason I'm frustrated and angry is because I know that it can be so much better. I know it, and many of you out there know it too. I'm sick of pretending like I don't. We get a taste of what the potential of WoW is with Legion, Now imagine that level of innovation and inspiration carried into BFA and now into Shadowlands. I'd never leave the house and I'd be proud of it. To the Blizzard developers, stop fucking us around and stop fucking around and start making the game that we know you can make. Get the dicks out of the salad. Give us something worth wanting. It doesn't matter how a system should work. It matters how it makes the players feel. Stop releasing dysfunctional systems and add quality of life improvements later on as content. Yes, that's something, it's artificial time gating, and that's just silly. To the players, stop accepting dog shit. You're better than that, and so are the developers. There's no pride in having your time wasted. Stop trying to look on the bright side. You shouldn't have to. There shouldn't have been a dark side to begin with. This has been quite a long post, but I've had this on my mind for a long time, especially after the 9.1 PTR and Burning Crusade announcement. So I really appreciate anyone who has made it this far. Thank you. So once again, everyone, that is a post that was written out and uploaded by Asmongold. If you enjoyed that, awesome. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I don't really have much else to say. I'll see y'all in the next video.